Hello, and thank you for joining us in such large numbers for this launch. There are people, many more people than we imagined. And I imagine they are motivated by some somewhat hyperbolic claims, apparently, that we made in recent days, such as a bank growing its customer base by 30% or an insurance company reducing its distribution cost by 96%. I guarantee you that now, in just a few minutes, the marketing team they gave me 1,000 this time to do the launch. I promise you by the time I finish you will think those statements are conservative. You will say this has more impact than what they said. We'll do three things. I'll demo 3 AIS. There are 6 demos, 3 AIS in increasing order of impact. It's about impact. You will start at the beginning and end up like this. We will answer questions that you can write whenever you want. And thirdly, and most importantly, you will have access to a link where you can try out these artificial intelligences. There isn't enough for everyone. A group goes, it's on a first-come basis. The first ones to sign up will be able to do it. 1,000 well. We are starting the demo, so what's this about? What is this launch about? It's about presenting the world's first the Mars in FinSky. I have 2 other screens, so I'll look elsewhere. So, I just want to show you the following, which is a them sky, a little bit more. It seems to be written this way, but in reality, it is the verbalization of an acronym that means financial thousand self-contained artificial intelligence. A few years ago, when artificial intelligence started to emerge, the more knowledgeable people in the fields of insurance companies, banks, and payment systems realized that the traditional, generative artificial intelligences that we know were not very useful for the financial industry. They were going to have major problems. And those problems are essentially these security issues, the most sensitive information of clients within an artificial intelligence engine, data protection regulation, technical resilience, scope, cost, the accuracy with which an artificial intelligence can respond, traceability, what happened. How was the interaction carried out? So, at that precise moment, without a doubt, a theory was indeed proposed. The theory was that it would not be possible to work with traditional generative artificial intelligences, and that something new would have to be invented, specifically a FinSky, a financial self-contained artificial intelligence. And what is artificial intelligence? Everyone knows that, so we won't explain it. But what does financial mean? Financial means that it is limited in scope, or ultra-focused, or hypervertical. When we think of a ChatGPT-based artificial intelligence, indeed, anyone can answer how to make an omelette, or how many goals Borussia Dortmund scored in the Champions League. All that information is irrelevant to an artificial intelligence in the financial industry. In the financial industry, an AI must have 4 focuses, understand 2 optimization mechanisms and 2 minimization mechanisms. Optimize revenue while reducing costs and risks. Essential. Financial. What does self-contained mean? Self-contained means it doesn't have to interact with the outside. If I ask an artificial intelligence today, a chatbot, what is the difference between a Go1 Platinum card? It will search many places and give me an answer it believes to be correct. But when a customer is asking their bank that they are not asking about any card, they are asking about their cards. The bank cards, the card I have right now in my pocket, 1,000. That type of ultra-sensitive information cannot be connected to the outside. Self-contained means not sharing private data externally. Not getting confused, not going to look for data that isn't there. I need precision. And this financial self-contained artificial intelligence, this them sky, today came into existence. N is not the first company to bring a them sky. From academic theory to real life, there are our clients, 4 of our clients testing them. Some of you, through partners or through pre-registrations, are already on the waiting list. And today, as I mentioned before, a group, those who register the fastest, will be able to try them out. Let's start with the first of the artificial intelligences, which we have carefully, thoughtfully, and meticulously named. You will definitely see. Hey, Fred. We call him Alfred, and he is indeed the assistant that transforms you into a superhero. If you want to essentially and basically imagine what Alfred does, always think about what the band butler does. Everything one thinks a super capable, intelligent, mature, wise assistant, secretary, or butler can do, Alfred indeed cannot do in any way. And we are going to start this 6-step demo with the first and most trivial, the most basic and very simple, the most fundamental of Alfred's functions. I am going to do it here. Let's imagine that I am an executive at a bank, or I am an insurance broker, I am a collections specialist, any person in the financial industry. These people, all of them, require a series of knowledge to function. A person working in the financial industry needs to know what a mortgage loan is, but also in which software it is recorded, and understand the software. He needs to know the credit rate schedule, the code of conduct of his org, and all that type of information. Well, what a bank or, for example, an insurance company needs to do with Alfred is simply feed it the information they want, such as customer data, in order to process their requests efficiently. Alfred won't look for information outside. He will take the information from the bank. And I'm going to show you right now exactly how I do this in detail. I'm going to check Alfred. Our platform here is direct access to Alfred. And I'm going to ask Alfred, what is the difference between a black card and a platinum card? It tells me it's unsure. If you try it, you can ask ChatGPT or others, and it will give you an answer. And what it answers, let's say, indeed barring any statistical anomaly, will not correspond to the reality of your own institution. Now, what we are going to do is just feed Alfred with information, with what we want Alfred to know. Look at this. I will take any file, drag any type of file, web pages, PDFs, they can be videos, PowerPoint, Excel, graphics, whatever. And in seconds, Alfred manages to vectorize the information. He is now ready to respond to me. Look at the time we give him. Now I ask you, new Alfred, please, I kindly want a detailed comparative table of the differences between black and platinum cards, and thank you. This we have just seen, which is the most trivial of the capabilities of our AIS, has a significant impact. But today, banks and insurance companies spend tremendous amounts of money and extensive periods of time meticulously training people, giving them thorough, comprehensive, and highly detailed induction courses, explaining exactly how every aspect of the manual works in great depth, having support desks where one might call to ask precisely how to unlock a card. All this is resolved this easily. Let's move on to the second part of the demo. We are going to ask Alfred for something more. What we are going to ask now is the following, and as I mentioned before, you can intuit what Alfred does if you think of him as your secretary, as your butler. A secretary often manages a schedule, organizes the calendar, helps answer emails, and reminds you of pending activities. We should show this in action. Alfred searches WhatsApp and all my emails from this week for questions you can answer. Offer clients time slots in my schedule in case they have any more questions. This is very important. Alfred doesn't speak directly to the client. He only interacts with me, the user. This ensures that Alfred will always be ultimately controlled by a human. If you think about it, it took only a few seconds to read more than 150 messages and draft the responses. And now I can make some adjustments if necessary. I'm going in here and decide I'm not going to send this. In this one, I delete this paragraph. Suddenly, I call this client by a different name. I have a more affectionate nickname that I use in person. I put that in and done, I send it. When one sees these functionalities, one might probably think, well, it's impressive, but surely it takes a long time to connect, to configure, it requires implementation. My tech area is going to be very expensive. Everything you've seen so far, absolutely everything, doesn't matter. 2009, the legacy system, the base platform, the country where it is, in the language it uses, everything can be implemented in 24 hours. If they are clients of our company and have more than 100 employees, there is no implementation cost. Let's move on to the third capability of our AIS. I'll make a childish analogy. When you look at the comics, Batman had a utility belt. And in the utility belt, he had various different devices that gave him more powers. The bat rope for climbing, the bat harpoon in case he goes underwater, the blender in case he definitely had to do some cooking. But Alfred can take any module from the end platform, from all our other modules, and give the executive an additional superpower, enhancing their capabilities and providing additional benefits, making their tasks easier and more effective. You know the platform. If you look at the platform, here you see the different solutions. We have a CIM for customer intelligence, an SPM that orchestrates employee intelligence, and an OCM, the multi-channel engine, accessing all channels. A BPM with access to all products, services, transactions, processes, and the EDAC, the complete database. Any of these modules that an organization has allows Alfred to access it. For example, the clients. I am going to log in now, some know it, but if I don't log into module 4 of our CIM, which is the portfolio view, we also call it my clients. I'll assume I'm an insurance producer. I'm reviewing an insurance portfolio. I'll filter the women in my portfolio. I choose females, specifically those who are under 40 years old, who do not have, for instance, home insurance or life insurance, and who are exclusively single product users, meaning they only use one product and do not diversify their insurance portfolio. I see there are 18. He even tells me their faces. I see there are 18. Remember this number. Alfred, should I go now and type the following question? Alfred, how many single product women without life insurance do I have in my portfolio? Once you have typed that, please confirm by saying done. I need to know the exact number of women who only have one product and do not have any life insurance policies in my portfolio. Thank you. There it is. There are 18 and the list is complete. And this thing I just did, could I ask about delinquent clients who received money? Clients who have their payroll with us but have never used their credit card. Clients who complained in the last few hours. Clients who have an overdue ongoing claim resolution process. Absolutely. Clients met their profitability goal. Everything is automatic used. Alfred can indeed do all this by being connected to the rest of our platform. Let's confirm something else. I'll choose the first one. Let's see, I'm going to ask a more difficult question. Her birthday is on the 28th of June and she is married. Alfred Watt's marital status born June 28th, 85. Excellent. This is important. When Alfred has BPM, our process transactionality module, the business process manager, he also has access to transactionality. This means you can ask him to cancel a lost credit card, for example, or to change an account limit, or to renew a term deposit. He never does it directly. He always prepares it and asks me to give the final click. But if there is something the user is authorized to do, Alfred helps them do it with a single click. I am going to show you another ability of Alfred. We have seen he's always available, but in a reactive manner. I have to click to appear. But it might be that Alfred offers to help me even if I don't ask him. I am going to talk to Pablo Bellin, who is the CTO of Encinco. We will pretend he is a client. People are unaware of our client profile. Here is the client profile. Assuming Pablo is a client. We have his information, products, the consolidated position. This is transactional. History, all info, all events, what the customer browsed on mobile, their phone calls, their website actions, their ATM requests. Everything is available here. And on the right, you see the priorities, what I should tell him. It shows the commercial priorities because the bank wants to increase revenue. The service priorities because the bank wants to increase customer satisfaction. Administrative operations. Risk, the bank wants to reduce risks and decrease operational costs. If Pablo calls me and asks me something, they ask something, Pablo.
Ask anything. I mean anything. Whatever. Well, look, I'm planning investments for this coming year, and the truth is there have been new regulations announced by the government. I don't know how it might impact fiscally.
All right, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to touch here, Pablo. I understand the matter. What I'm going to do is thoroughly review the new law, carefully talk to the bank's fiscal team, and call you next Wednesday in detail.
All right, we agreed.
Perfect. Goodbye to Pablo. Pablo Bellin, partner. Thank you, Pablo. Now watch what happens when I just close. I end this conversation with him. Alfred understood my talk with Pablo and saw that I promised 3 things, though I said only 1 sentence. And it suggests adding or scheduling, like adding each of these events to my calendar, like. This concludes the demo of Alfred, the assistant that turns you into a superhero. Summary: Alfred knows everything my company expects me to know. He helps me with my calendar and my messages. He does everything I do, always confirming with me. And he even predicts the help I need. We say goodbye to Alfred then, who is indeed the very first of the artificial intelligences, and truly welcome the second, Pep, the coach who absolutely allows us to be the best version of ourselves. I like this image to remind us all that no matter how good a professional is, they are always much better when someone who truly knows and sees things from another perspective focuses on helping them. And this is what Pep does. Imagine it. Imagine Pep in this way, this attitude. Pep has all the same information that Alfred has. Product information, manual, phone directory, but he does much more. The first thing is that it's similar to a boss or a coach who can give me, in general, generic productivity advice. For example, it could tell me how to prepare for a meeting, or how to plan the week, or if I want to make progress in the next few hours, how to take notes, anything related to productivity. But his ability is to help me improve my performance. I'll show him in action, which is better than listening to me. I am going to be an executive again, a bank executive, and go to module 18 of our ESPM from the world of employee intelligence, like the incentive system. I come in here and Pep understands, just from my navigation, where I am focusing, that I am concerned about my personal loan sales results, and immediately suggests aids. PEP first shows me all the information I need about the product. Sometimes my lack of success in selling comes from not knowing much. I am unsure. PEP then shows me the information, benefits, brochures to send to the client, latest offers, questions and answers. It can be in video, whatever. The second thing PEP offers me is to identify the most likely customers I should contact now for a higher chance of success. And the difference Alfred versus PEP. With Alfred, I tell him which client, while PEP tells me what is best for me. Remember, PEP is like a boss, a mentor who knows more than I do. Alfred is like an assistant or secretary who does what I ask efficiently. The third thing that PEP does, which is indeed very interesting, comes from realizing that PEP is not just my mentor, but also the mentor of all my colleagues or competitors, as some call them. PEP knows who is the best debt collector, insurance salesperson, pension plan advisor, and quickly resolves issues. And PEP knows why each of them is so good. 1000 helps me write, giving me a theoretical idea from a book or invented by Encinco. It analyzes the top 1% of the company, people who have the same products, the same circumstances, the same processes, the same limitations, and helps you to imitate them. It separates this by categories and tells me at what time, how often, how long the conversations should last, which phrases are good to start a communication, how to handle objections, and gives me general advice. Look, here it essentially tells us that we need to understand well why the customer needs the money before talking about a loan itself, and that a third of the time should be dedicated to that. And this is absolutely true. I started my professional life working in a bank branch, and if someone asks for a loan to renovate a house, we can suggest that instead of asking for all the money up front, they request it over the weeks or months to pay less interest. That has a huge impact on the likelihood of success. The fourth way PEP can help us is with what we call, in particular, sparring mode. What PEP does is help me practice. If I am a debt collector or learning to collect, it pretends to be a customer behind on payments and I negotiate a payment. If I am an insurance salesperson, it presents objections. Whatever my task, PEP helps me practice. And I can practice anywhere at any time. And to definitely fulfill what is PEP's promise, that I become the best version of myself. Last point is like sparring mode and it's great. It's called simulation mode. Instead of doing generic training, what PEP really does is pretend to be the next client or prospect I am going to call so that I can practice that interaction. I am going to enter here again to a file for my client Mercedes, but before calling her, I practice the conversation with PEP to elaborate on the process and to ensure clarity and effectiveness. I am going to write, for example, "Hello Mercedes," to be well prepared and confident.
An investment world. Well, Hector.
And there I see that PEP, impersonating Mercedes, pretending to be her, says to me, "Hello, but I don't have much liquidity. We'll talk later." She already cut me off. You can see how PEP instantly assigns a score to everything I do. Every phrase already has a score. I have a final score for the whole process. But in this case, it gives me a 4 out of 10 and explains why it gives me the 4 out of 10 and even suggests a solution. To recap, PEP gives me generic productivity tips, but its real focus is to provide me with all the tools to do my job optimally. It teaches me products, tells me customers I should contact, tells me how, what phrase to say, everything learned from the best in my organization. Now we are missing the last artificial intelligence, the singular executive. But one thing worries me, that I see many questions and I'm afraid we won't be able to meet them in the final time. So what I did was watch while they were appearing, and there are many that repeat a lot of times. So let me touch on 3. I won't share my screen or anything. I'll quickly tell you the 3 main ones that are coming up. There is a very important question, which is whether they can have these modules if they are not clients of the platform or if they are not clients in 5 quick responses. There is no problem. As I mentioned before, Alfred is implemented 24/7, no matter what you have. And if you have another CIM, another BPM, or any other product, we also make the connection. Obviously, with our platform, the connection is native and instant, but if not, we ensure perfect integration with any other provider. The second thing they talked a lot about is security issues. We cannot say much about our architecture, let alone our security. Let me give you analogies. I'll give you analogies to imagine what is behind without giving precision. Alfred or Pep are not part of the organization. Indeed, they belong to each person. If you think about it, if I have 2 executives and both have their Alfred, those conversations are completely independent and isolated. Therefore, Alfred, if I talk to him and ask him to look at my clients, he only sees the clients that I can see. He can never do something that I can't do, indeed. And in the same way, if concerned about executive security seeing clients, executive sees. If your executive can see your clients, Alfred can manage the clients. If the executive isn't authorized, Alfred can't access them. If the executive can cancel a card, Alfred can prepare for cancellation, but can't do what the executive doesn't do. So, follow this, the security rules are a reflection of each person's authorizations. One additional layer of security. Because I give an instruction to Alfred, Alfred checks I am logged in with my user credential, my location, my face, and my voice. So it is definitely much harder to hack than with another system, a bit. Finally, it talks a lot about hallucinations. Hallucinations occur when artificial intelligence gives us incorrect answers, and sometimes they respond incorrectly. And this actually only answers incorrectly 1% of the time. In other words, it is 99% better than other artificial intelligences because it has a distributed logic. It's not that we are champions, but rather that we have a distributed logic. Imagine if we could see what we do behind the scenes. One at a university asks a professor about Lagrange theorem, and the professor gives an incorrect answer. The student will either say they didn't understand or show it on their face. Both things. Our AIS understand it, and the moment they interpret that, they wake up 3 other professors who are asleep. Everything happens telepathically. It's not like there's a conversation, but in 1 second, the main professor sends them the last 3 minutes. From conversation to the user to the secondary ones, so that they can develop their own response. They prepare the response, send it to the head teacher, and in turn, the 4 of them grade the responses they did not give. Scoring is completed and an improved response is created, validated by 4 artificial intelligences. That's what they tell the student. If still confused, it goes to 7 teachers. If unresolved, it goes to a human who intervenes. This is the way. These are the questions I wanted to answer. There are many more, and we will be answering them one by one. We will ensure all get the answers. I will discuss the 3rd Finskaden 5 as the most revolutionary. And I want to invite you to reflect. If Pep knows everything I need to do, knows the products, knows what phrases I should use to sell them, knows how to counter objections, and Alfred can do everything at scale, executing 100 tasks at the same time, why would they need me in the middle? Why would Pep suggest which clients to contact to ask Alfred to prepare the emails? Usually because they simply do not merge and know everything that needs to be done and can do it at scale. And so we remove the human from the middle and elevate them as a supervisor, or as we call them, a commander of artificial intelligences. We then introduce you to the singular executive, the post-singularity financial executive. I really like history. While reading Churchill's book on the Second World War, 6 volumes, I learned that one of England's biggest limitations was not producing more planes, but training more pilots. When a plane crashes, both the plane and trained person are lost. And today we know that there are people who can be sitting thousands of kilometers away from a war zone, controlling not just one plane, but a fleet of drones. SOS, EOS, this is what we bring you today. Someone who until yesterday was an executive, perhaps in a bank branch or an insurance company, managing a portfolio of a few hundred clients, can now oversee artificial intelligences that can do everything he can do, but on a scale 100 times larger. And they do it better than him because they learned from the top 1% of salespeople, the top 1% of collectors, advisors, brokers, and service agents. This is why this launch starts with Alfred, continues with Pep, and ends with Singular. Because Alfred and Pep are not only helping to boost productivity for all our teams today in various ways, but they are also essential for learning how the ideal professional of each company should operate efficiently. Singular is the best executive of a company, but it has consistent execution. We are not talking about a singular, unique executive, but a group of them, each of whom is hyper-specialized and has a specific function in their respective fields. In fact, there is a singular collector, a singular insurance salesperson, a singular investment advisor, claims agent, and the commander is the one who supervises them, trains them, calibrates them, and helps them if something unexpected arises. I could have Lara on my team, who is a hunter focused on acquiring new clients. She will prospect, qualify, and cold call. She has a personality, a face, a voice, and a defined personality. For instance, she could be assertive, able to convey confidence, more persistent, and has success indicators such as the number of new clients or the number of new clients in a specific segment or cluster, and the persistence of those clients over time, ensuring that the clients stay for a long time. And as the commander, I will be your boss and will be supervising your performance. People think, and every time I see all the artificial intelligence launches for the financial industry, I always see the same thing. I always see a chatbot that is smarter than before. Here we are talking about a hunter who can bring in 100 times more customers and clients than the best sales executive, in fact, because it actually copied the best, but can do it at scale. Give you some others, Lara, to others to introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Eva, a quantum and know everything about investments.
Hello, I'm Ars, the one who helps you keep your accounts up to date. Many times we are asked if it is complex for the end customer to see 9 intelligences and talk to all of them. But it is the commander who sees in this case, because they could be more or less the one who sees 9 singular executives. The company could choose for Nova to have all these skills, as she is the only one who speaks with the client, but we believe that strategically it might not be the best option. Maybe we need to have an executive for almost everything, but a sensitive matter like arrears could have a different personality. Or, as we saw with Eva, an investment specialist meant to be more sophisticated. It is unlikely the person who assists me every day is also the person who knows the most about investments in the world. And now I am going to show you our pioneering module for commanders, which is the world's first groundbreaking software specially designed for artificial intelligence chiefs, known as FinSky. This innovative platform allows me, as an executive who previously managed maybe 300 clients, to now efficiently attend to a remarkable 30,000 clients. Before, I saw my goals as my own. Today, I have them distributed to my different singular executives, and I see how we progress together in each metric. I see the number of contacts we had in the channel. I can see the cost of interaction, of each interaction of the singular executives. I see which ones need to be retrained, the individual quality of each of them, the satisfaction that customers have with each of them, and even an important issue, the number of times I had to intervene in a day. We know that this supervision is going to be lax, or unnecessary, in fact. But for a period that will vary from company to company, the commander will need to be able to intervene actively. Allow me to show you how this works. I am going to ask Maria Velati, our CEO, if she can please communicate with her singular executive and ask something related to your company. You have a small business and ask something quickly, then show irritation. Even saying something like "you're not understanding me." Something like that so that they ask me for help. As you can see here, I already realized that the conversation has shifted towards the growth specialist. And the system alerts me when a customer's mood is slightly worsening. Come here. Very well. We wait a little longer. And now it activates when it's there. What I'm going to do now is click here and ask the singular executive to take control. I touch this, the executive stays the same. They tell Maria if she thinks to bring in the boss. And that's when I will intervene. I am gonna save Apollo from Mary. Mary, here is my supervisor and he wants to talk to you. Can he join our conversation?
Yes,
Mary, why do you like hurting artificial intelligences?
it was hard. I can't accept it's not human and has no feelings. Strange.
How's it going?
Good. Stay sharp there.
Thank you much, Maria Balata, Sioja, partner of Cinco. And this is our third technology, our third artificial intelligence, the singular executives that we believe are going to dramatically change the financial industry. Before placing the link so you can try all this, I wanted to leave you with a little bit of a reflection. I have to tell you, every time we presented this for the first time in the past, essentially our clients would say something like this is going to completely change the financial industry. One can go from 300 clients to 30,000 fewer people will be needed. And we have to train everyone in single function technology, like being a commander of artificial intelligences, which didn't exist a week ago. Actually, they are right. There will be companies that won't take this seriously and will disappear because they will be competing against those who do. But the biggest impact is not that. Today, there are 1.4 billion people in the world who do not have a bank account, cannot access payments and collections, cannot get paid, or sell a good, often because someone wants to pay them with a card and they have no way to receive it. They can't save, they obviously can't apply for a loan, and the main reason for this is definitely, absolutely the cost of servicing it. Almost all of them would like to talk to a guide who explains, dedicates time, cares, and attends to them at 3 a.m. But that simply is more expensive, or was more expensive than what that person could generate in income, and that's why that possibility didn't exist. The singular executive will indeed allow any individual in the world to be personally attended to by a financial institution. And in the same way, when the cost of providing attention to someone drops from tens of dollars to perhaps just a few cents, hundreds of millions of people can perhaps even more be financially included in the world. This is what motivates us, and this is what we wanted to bring to you today. Here is the link to be filled out with first and last name, phone number, and corporate email. Those with all three pieces of information will be prioritized. If you want to do it quickly, do it. Usand, your time is up. I want to thank you all for joining us, all the countries for this. And I leave you always with our motto PD, without terra sit revisos. Thank you.